sometimes life ain't fair. And sometimes you get lucky. Heaven's worst nightmare. O'Malley's fantasy dream. Give it up for the Buffalo Bills. Special teams. Congratulations, Sean. Welcome to the People's Pod. See you in Vegas.
Heyo!
Hi.
Here it is, the People's Pod. The last and most ultimate podcast of the 2021 fantasy football season.
I'm sad that it's gone already.
Went by quick, very quick.
It always does. Time is just irrelevant these days, right? Like, I don't know about you, but I don't even know how to differentiate between 2020 and 2021. Those two are just the same to me.
And now 2022 is the same continuation.
I'm super thankful that I haven't really left my house in 2022 yet, so I haven't had to write a date down in any way because I still have the time to put 2020. Gnarly.
Wow, that's quite the beard you got going on.
I know. One of the perks of not leaving the home. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Gosh, I just want to comment real quick about Curtis's jingle. It's so good. It's so good. I know you got to see, we have an email thread with Curtis each week and we update him through texts to give him some content to work with, right? But I really envision him switching up career, abandoning sales and just getting into jingle writing and like Charlie Sheen from 2.5 Men.
Yes, that was a funny comment.
I just totally envision Kurt living that dream.
His Malibu mansion overlooking the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, just the wandering warden with this revolving door of partners and drugs and just fame and fortune. If anybody could do it, it's him.
Yeah, he's on the way. Hey, cheers. Oh, wow.
There it is. It's a tough one. Big wave.
I have some nice hot tea here. As I was telling you, I am a weekday teetotaler for the time being, trying it out in January. Tryout season is upon us, and I've had more beers than miles run the past few months, so trying to overcorrect back to the mean for the time being. So yeah, no alcohol during the week, although tomorrow is Chelsea's birthday, so there's an asterisk for special occasions, so there may be some imbibing of alcoholic beverages tomorrow.
Some celebration. Yeah, it's smart. You got to make those exceptions. It's not worth it. Ostracize yourself on those special days. Then again, you could be the DD, right? Hey, everybody loves that. So you have quite a nice background on. Where are you in the world? What's going on?
Okay, so update, I guess 2-week update. Wasn't able to record last pod because along with Brad and Chelsea and a handful of other people, we were in Sayulita, Mexico for New Year's, which is really cool. Lots of very cheap al pastor tacos. Lots of beach time, definitely burned. We did a boat ride too out to the Marietas Islands, which is off of Punta Mita, and in doing so we saw a bunch of humpback whales in that the channel they have right there, and got to the island, saw a blue-footed booby, the ones that apparently are only found in the Galapagos, and then this random islands off of Puerto Vallarta, little very blue feet, very crazy to see. And then got back from Mexico last Sunday. Felt pretty ill, but was unconfirmed illness. Not really sure what it was. Multiple people did get COVID in our group, but I never got a test back. Tests are like impossible to get right now in San Diego. I don't know how it is in Santa Barbara, but I imagine it's pretty similar. Both like scheduled tests and just like take-home tests. There's just no availability anywhere. So I found a random pop-up testing site, and I just like stood in line in this parking lot for like half an hour, and then got up and they like gave me a little swab, and I put it up my nose, both nostrils, signed my like all my information, my phone number, email, yada yada yada. And they said they get back to me.
Social security number,
No social security number. It said 3 days they get back to me, and it's been 8 days since that test, and I haven't heard. And now I feel better and fine. So unconfirmed illness.
Not really.
Yes, but then anyway, this last weekend, Growlers had their first round of tryouts here in San Diego, so I went to that. There was like 50 or some odd people there, standard like tryout. Went by pretty quick. Moved on to the next phase. So the 22nd of this month is their next tryout / first practice, and then after that they're going to set their team. So still alive in that world right now. But then after that, I drove up, or actually I got a ride with Jeff Silverman up from Growlers tryouts to Santa Barbara, because a month ago I left my car in Santa Barbara before I flew to Florida. And so I stayed with Brad Saturday night and Sunday night, got my car from Alina, who's Chelsea's former housemate, and then drove down Monday night. And now, to answer your question, where am I now? We're in an Airbnb in Pacific Beach in San Diego.
Oh.
Yes.
Dang.
Which actually, even getting into this Airbnb was a chore. So Chelsea took care of it on Sunday when I was in Santa Barbara. This is not the one that we had reserved. We had reserved one that was like a block from the beach. And she went there like 5 minutes before the 4 p.m. check-in, and like keyed in the code in the door and like opened the door. And then there was like a family sitting in the living room of this Airbnb. And so Chelsea was like, "Oh, sorry, I'm a little bit early for the 4 p.m. check-in." And then the people there were like, "Oh, we actually have this reserved for this week." And Chelsea was like, "Well, I have this reserved for this week." And so then she like gets on the app and starts blowing up the host and like the Airbnb resolution center, because they double booked the place. The guy finally gets back to her after like a half hour of like chaos, reroutes her to a different Airbnb that they have. She goes there, opens the door, and there's like a bunch of like overturned furniture that's like in plastic. Like it's not hospitable. It's like you can't, I don't even know why they sent her there. But then she's like, "This is a fucking joke. Give me an actual place." And so now third time's the charm, and we are in a actual place with no other family that has furniture out of the plastic.
Wow.
And yeah, Chelsea was dealing with this all Sunday when like Brad and I were out with like Curtis, like slugging wine.
Let's
watching
go.
football, watching the Niners advance.
And then the Raider game, right? Holy Toledo.
Yeah, a lot of action that Sunday.
What a phenomenal Sunday of football. And you just, I'm sure you indirectly were dealing with the Airbnb stuff, right? Like, I'm sure you're getting texted too.
I got a call. She tells me that, and I'm like, "Oh, that's a bummer." And then I'm trying to like help, like I can't do shit, right?
Yeah.
So eventually she got it, and I think she had a friend with her too. So it wasn't just like her against the world, but yes, nice. There was some like frantic texts and phone calls, like multiple phone calls in like a half hour time, where I'm like, that sucks. I don't know what I can do. I'm in Santa Barbara right now.
Yeah. Holy Toledo. I'm super curious. Kevin Davidson was always about, and El Bogan, they were always about compensation, right? Like when a company fucks up like that. what are you gonna do to make my life better after you've made it worse for 4 hours, however long?
Right. So I think I don't know the exact figures, but I'm pretty sure this place that we're in is like $100 to $150 more expensive per night than the place that we had reserved, and we're not paying any more. So I think that's what the compensation is. It's just a nicer place. And this place is pretty nice. I mean, it's a split level. There's 2 bed, 2 bath, big living room, big kitchen, which is behind me. Like, it's nice. And there's
Yeah.
actually a baller park like a half-mile away or less that you walk up this hill, and then you can see a gorgeous view of like all of Pacific Beach and then Mission Bay and then Ocean Beach. And then to the left, you can see, well, SeaWorld and then like downtown San Diego on the Coronado Bridge. So it's really nice.
Oh,
It's like
that's
a
awesome.
silver lining to that whole debacle that she had to deal with on Sunday.
Yeah, totally worth it. 4 hours of stress for like maybe $500-$600 of compensation. That's dope.
Yep. Yep.
And I mean, look at those cabinets. That's some nice wood. Hey.
Show you some nice wood.
Oh no.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was very good. We were supposed to, the kids were signed up for Beach of Dreams. It's a youth ultimate tournament down in Santa Monica. It's like Layout Junior. And it got canceled the Tuesday before games on Friday, right? So the kids were super bummed. It's one of the 3 tournaments on the year that we get to go to. And it's really like they had been practicing independently all winter break long. And so like morale was just super low after that. And so we decided to host our own Beach of Dreams here in Santa Barbara. We were going to send 3 teams down, which is, incredible, a mixture of veterans and then two current teams. And so instead we decided to make a round robin tournament at East Beach. And it was super fun. I bought a bunch of gift cards for the winning team. 3 teams, just you play 2 games and then score differential. And then we threw a pizza party afterwards for all the kids. And
that's awesome.
It was just like, it was a really successful event. And, we threw it together in a day and a half, right? And we tried to balance the teams as evenly as possible, because one of the curses of my coaching tenure is we'll like have kids progressively get better over time. That's the standard, like the way things work, right?
They hate to see it.
Yeah. But then like we will have those better players fall off the bridge and just like stop coming, right? And so then like our medium tier players are our best players, and then we'll just randomly get these like, on a scale of 1 to 10, these kids that show up are like -2, right? And so it's just like, damn. So how do we make this fun? This 2-hour practice right now. How do we make this fun for our mid and high level players at the same time as this like -2 person, and like try to catch them up to speed as quickly as possible? And like, this isn't just something that we deal with in fall quarter, which is what you would expect, right? Like I got a new player the week of this Beach of Dreams tournament, and this person has never even watched a sport before, right? Like that's the level of their field IQ, right? So it's just like, it's insane dealing with that. And so putting together this tournament and making balanced teams and making it fun for everybody, even the elite players and the the detrimental players, for lack of a better term. It was a big win for the coaching staff. And like, because they were competing for gift cards and like this championship, like overall the play was better. So that was really, really fun. Like I'm sure you've experienced this too as a coach, where like when things finally work out and you see things working, like as an example, the kids setting up in a vertical stack, doing a dump swing, and then throwing to the break side, right? Like that just makes your heart like explode.
Yep.
That was a ton of fun. And then let's see, Sunday morning played pickleball. That's something that Ashley and I are really striving for to get better and better at, which is fun in Frisbee retirement life. The poll to join Frisbee is still there, so I keep like pseudo working out and pseudo stretching and like using my kids to like work on throws. So that's like weird and annoying. I'm hoping to convince the Aviators to play a game in Santa Barbara. I think that would be sick.
I think they're trying to do an exhibition at some point. An exhibition game in like March or April.
Yeah, I'm not trying to fuck around with no exhibition game. I want the real deal, you know?
Oh, you
like
want, like, I want actual, yeah.
I want to host Growlers Aviators in the Santa Barbara City College Stadium.
And I want to
fill the stadium up, right? Like I want to give free tickets to each school. I want the Santa Barbara community to blow up and you know, have LA Aviators converts to Santa Barbara Aviators. That'd be sick. Yeah. And then Sunday was, you know, a roller coaster of emotions. Super fun. My niece's NFL fandom was put on the line for the Niner Ram game. So in addition to the playoff implications, then I had like my baby niece, you know, like on the line. I don't know if I could put up with her being a little Rams fan and in Rams gear. So that was really, you know, crazy.
Is Brittany a Niners fan?
She was also that whole family was up in the air for whether or not they'd be Rams fans or Niner fans. And so I'm gonna buy them all jerseys, you know, just to welcome them to the squad. So that's exciting.
Little tiny baby jersey.
It's oh my gosh, baby shopping for baby gear is like so troublesome because everything looks so cute. I don't know. Yeah, I get in trouble looking at baby clothes. Then, you know, like my own baby crazy comes into mind, you know, it's just not good.
I feel like I'd be annoyed buying baby clothes because in the back of my mind, I'd be like, they're going to grow out of this in like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a rental. It's like a clothing rental, basically. So you can.
Yeah. It sounds like a business opportunity. Baby rental clothing.
Dude, that's just like Tom Haverford's business in Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
He has all his suits and like children's clothes that he rents out. People so they look fly.
So funny. Such a good idea. I'm just saying, we should probably get into that, huh?
Just buy a bunch of baby clothes.
We need some capital, Brad. Should we hop into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's been a good recap. Life is grand right now. Besides, you know, everything blowing up. Really excited. I feel like we can all be friends again soon.
A eerie calm.
Yeah.
In the group.
Yeah, I know. Fantasy's over. We don't have to be mean to each other. There's no like clearly irritated pebbles just like sending needless needling texts. My team would have done this. I would have done this. Man.
Dude,
old fashioned.
Tell me how him and Pebbles were texting about if Brad had lost his like last week, and then Pebbles would have been in the playoffs instead of O'Malley, and then like,
oh yeah. Pebbles had a lot of time. I mean, I guess that happens, right? When you have a newborn and you're not really sleeping, like you got to wake up, feed the baby. What else are you going to do but fixate on fantasy?
What ifs?
What ifs? They're unhealthy. You got to stay away from the what ifs.
You have anything to atone for in this segment? Yeah, no. Do you want to just do a Well, I saw you had your preparations made, so I imagine you had a plan for that.
Well, so I've gotten spoiled, right? Like you always remind me of the terrible things that I say, my hot takes. And so I don't really need to remember them because I figure you would just fill me in. So this atonement segment is always a surprise for me.
Okay, well, it kind of folds into this next segment, which is Antonio Brown versus Robby Anderson. I hashtag did the math, or I guess, yeah, hashtag did the math. So I went through these two players, and every week that they played, actually just every week in general, played, not played otherwise. Robby Anderson in 17 eligible weeks to play. He played in every single game. He got 0 points in week 8, 1 target, 0 catches. And the week after that, week 9, he had 0.7 points, which I think was like a 2-yard catch or something. By and large, he had a bad year. He had a bad fantasy year. On the Antonio Brown side, Mr. Brown had
Mr. Brown.
2 weeks where he had over 22 points. Another week where he had almost 20, 19.8. Another week that he had 15.1. He also had 1 week where he was out because of COVID. So he missed a game because of COVID. He was suspended 3 games for his fake vaccination card. He was cut and missed the very last week, although that wasn't really going to count for our season anyway, because our season was done by that time. And he was injured for 5 games. So I honestly don't remember what the original bet was. I went back through all of our notes and I saw some like italicized print that said injury nullifies the bet. Robby Anderson scored more fantasy points than Antonio Brown did over the year by about 11. But that's including week 18. However, Antonio Brown averaged more points per game played, even when you factor in the game, his COVID game, I think I also included, or his non-game, just because I think that's part of him being an idiot. I don't really know what we're going to do or should do about this, because I think I proved my point in that he is not a worthwhile fantasy addition to a roster. And Robby Anderson scored more, but Antonio Brown was injured for 5 out of 16 eligible weeks, which was supposed to nullify the bet. We had bet a nice dinner on the line, so I'm happy to compromise and have you take an atonement shot for thinking that Antonio Brown was going to be a better fantasy asset than Robby Anderson.
Whoa. Hold up. You have acknowledged that on a per game weekly basis, Antonio Brown is the better player. Case in point number 1. Through 6 weeks, Antonio Brown was a great fantasy player. He was averaging at least 16 points through 6 weeks. I think that's like WR1, not 1 overall, but like, top 12 status.
I don't think he was averaging 16 points. He was averaging
22, 2, 10, 29, 20.
Yeah, but you forgot that 0 in there.
But he didn't play in that game.
Right, but you said 6 weeks. So if you're counting the first 6 weeks, that 0 counts in that 6 weeks. Right? You said 6 weeks, first 6 weeks.
My God, you're getting into the nitty gritty on this.
So in the first, he averaged 13.8 in the first 6 weeks, including that.
Yo, that's not bad for some podcast math. Quick in my brain right there. Approximations. Plus, if you take out that 1 week, that number shoots up over. Meanwhile, we got big Robin Anderson. I can't believe I said that. That's what I should have toned for. 13, 5, 1, 7, 4, 8. Gross. that's less than 10.
That he was a bad pick. One of many I had.
Yeah, that's how you end up in the Sacco bracket. Sad. Well, how about this? We both owe a shot. I'll do one now. And this will be an atonement for calling him Robin Anderson. Okay. And then we can both take a shot together in the future because, I think that Antonio Brown was a better fantasy player, more useful. You felt more confident starting him. I don't think you ever felt good starting Robin Anderson.
Imagine you are an Antonio Brown manager. It is the finals of your fantasy league. Antonio Brown has a cupcake matchup against the Jets, and then you see him strip down and pirouette off the field in your finals. You think fantasy managers are happy with Antonio Brown and playing him?
He still outscored Robby Anderson that week.
Well, people shouldn't be playing Robby Anderson.
It's true. But yeah, he just flew too close to the sun. That guy's brain. I wonder if you can tell if he has CTE already, like if they did a CT scan on him and he just already has the brain of an 80-year-old. That would be so crazy to see. I'm sure he won't do it, but
I bet
anyways.
Oh yes.
Cheers to my boy AB. He got me Jalen Hurts and gave me continued false hope on my season. Which I must apologize to Scott. Sorry that worked out the way it did. I actually mulled over many times offering a trade back, especially when Kyler was hurt. But I'm not a good enough human being to do so. So I never did.
That's the risk you take. I remember when that trade happened, I was like, you better hope Kyler doesn't get injured, Scott. And he did.
Yeah.
That's the way the cookie crumbles. Wasn't the only injuries that happened this year.
You know what's crazy? Part of the reason that I drafted Russell over Kyler was my memory of Kyler getting hurt and not being able to perform well, which was slightly incorrect. But I remember him getting hurt and all the scrambling that he was doing, and so I was like, oh, Russell, he's reliable, he's durable, he never gets hurt.
One broken finger later.
It's killing me. Let's see. I'm super curious. Doing the podcast math right now. Where did Kyler finish? He's 2 slots below Jalen Hurts and 4 slots ahead of Russell Wilson.
Oh, I would have thought that gap would have been much larger.
Yeah, especially for how abysmal Russell was.
Right. Well,
let's see. He actually wasn't that bad for fantasy, despite the performance he was putting on.
Well, he did score about 50 fewer points than Kyler did.
True.
And
good point.
Hurts only scored 9 points more than Kyler did.
Yeah. With
anyway,
missed game himself.
Yeah, lots of missed games. Dude,
Hurts only played 1 more game than Kyler, actually. So hey,
this is fun. Rodgers is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th highest scoring quarterback. Joe Burrow 7. Rodgers 6, Burrow 7. So I traded the right guy, although Burrow almost buried me.
Yeah. Burrow was a championship bracket MVP.
I guess Burrow also didn't play this past week, so he only needed 10 points to eclipse Rodgers, and Rodgers did play. Although Rodgers missed a time because of COVID earlier, so whatever. That's neither here nor there. Next section. This one is 3 weeks in the making. So on the last podcast that I was here, we did the Sacco deep dive, all the Sacco matchups from the last 9 seasons of this league. And so now we get to revisit the champions and all the championships we've had and all the participants and what happened, highlights for those games. So without further ado, going back 2013, we have Adam as the favorite, Pebbles as the underdog. Adam wins the ship. Jamal Charles had 20 points for Adam, although LaShawn McCoy put up 28 for Pebs. 2014, Bacon is the favorite. Scott is the underdog. Bacon wins. This also is the infamous year that Bacon cursed Adam on the back of the draft board. CJ Anderson and Lamar Miller combined for 40 for Bacon in that one.
I still can't believe that curse worked. That's like just one of the greatest storylines. It will live in infamy forever in this league. That's so amazing. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and that year, okay. Well, I just wanted to see if Adam was in the Sacco game, but he was not. That year was Brad and Pebs. But yes, that's crazy. The DeMario brothers, I believe, was the year.
DeMario brothers, yeah. Demaryius Thomas, rip.
2015, we have Weaver as the favorite, Pebbles as the underdog. Pebbles wins this one. Fantasy defense. No, that's the next one. Pebbles wins this one. Allen Robinson and Julio Jones, two players who vastly underperformed this year, combined for 47 points for Pebbles in his victory over you in 2015.
I will forever remember Julio Jones roofing the pants off of Luke Kuechly for one of those 40-plus yard touchdowns to seal the deal. The nightmare.
2016, Pebbles is back in the finals. This year he's playing an upstart squad of young Dollar Bill before he was Blood Diamond Bill. Bill, the underdog, wins. And this is where I have fantasy defense. Pebbles gets 31 from David Johnson, but low scores everywhere, including a 0 from Robby Anderson. Bill gets 24 points from Andrew Luck, and he gets the victory.
Did you happen to see Andrew Luck and RG3 at the college championship game?
I saw pictures afterwards. Yeah, Andrew Luck looks like very emaciated.
Yeah, emaciated. Yeah, I was gonna say decrepit. Yeah, he looks like he just got out of the hospital for something. That's crazy. The transformation that these guys go through after retiring.
All that muscle.
Oh my gosh, it's wild. Back to you, Colin.
2017, Bill is back in the finals. He is the favorite. Max is the underdog, and the underdog gets it done. Max wins. 45 points from Todd Gurley. Bill puts up a pedestrian 114.86 as his fantasy defense fails because Max put up 156.84. So Max won that one by over 40 points in 2017.
Damn.
However, not the last we'd hear of Bill, as in 2018, he's back in the finals again against Evan. Evan is the favorite. Bill is the underdog, and Bill wins. So he's got 2 titles in 3 years, 150.98 to 136.58. Bill gets 43 points from Aaron Rodgers. Woods and Kamara combined for 50 for Evan, but not enough.
Damn.
2019.
That's a 4-year run of underdogs taking the ship.
That's a fun fact. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. 2019, Stu is the favorite. Bill is the underdog. This is Bill's second final in a row. Oh no, third final. 1, 2, 3. Fourth final in a row by this point. 29 from Lamar Jackson for Stu. God damn it. I was a pick away from this being me. But he also gets 0.6 points from DJ Moore. Bill has McCaffrey always because he's always picking at the top of the draft. Got 24 from McCaffrey, but fell short. 2020, O'Malley is the favorite. Stu is the underdog. Stu wins his second title in a row, getting 26 points from Deshaun Watson. Does everybody remember who that guy is? And 27 from David Johnson for Stu as well, which is crazy.
Sure it wasn't Deontay?
I'm pretty sure Bill had Deontay Johnson last year as well.
Bill's got a thing for the D Johnson.
27 points from Jeff Wilson Jr. for O'Malley, but it's not enough as Stu wins his second title in a row. And now we have 2021 stats. Evan is the favorite. O'Malley was the underdog. O'Malley wins. We have the infamous Buffalo D stat correction to a loss. But not to go unnoticed, there's a 28.1 points from Najee Harris in that game, Steelers against the Browns, where the Steelers had it in hand basically the entire game. And we thought that Harris came up just short, but it turns out that it was just as much as O'Malley needed.
Yeah, just a little story time. I was watching that game with Ashley, and at this point, like, I'm not cheering for anybody in particular. The game's over, right? Like I expected Najee to just fall over inbounds to milk the clock, right? But he goes in for this score, and I start freaking out. And Ashley's just like looking at me like I'm a crazy person, right? And I start to explain to her like how ridiculous that was, first of all, the situation itself. And then second of all, like this brought this matchup within stat correction, right? Like this is crazy, And I told her about Scott's thanking the haters speech, also involving Evan. And so she's like up to speed. We wake up the next morning, and like I wake up before her every day. And when Groomy started blowing up, I like freaked out and I went and like shook her in bed. I was like, honey, it happened. It happened. The stat correction happened. And she's like, no way. Oh my gosh. Oh, poor Evan, because she like cares about people. And so she was just like, oh, I can't even imagine how he must be feeling right now. He must be so sad. And I was just like, oh no, it's only rage at this point.
He even took his gentleman Dak shot.
I know. God, that was so too soon, obviously, but that gentleman Dak was so funny. I was for it.
Closing stats for this segment. Most appearances in the finals. Bill's got 4. Pebbles has 3. Stu, O'Malley, and Evan all have 2. And then there's some others who are sprinkled in with 1, like yourself. Yeah. 0 for me.
Are you the only one with 0?
I don't think so. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And Brad's not on here either. No, Scott is on here. Brad's not.
There he is, yeah.
Is it just me and Brad?
Hashtag podcast math.
Well, that's a sad one. Hashtag sad fact. Maybe it'll be Brad and I next year. Who knows?
You hate to love to see it.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Each year is a new year, and that's why it's nice not having keepers.
We've now moved on to our listener segment. We did have a listener question come in from Tyler Bacon. He wanted us to do some power rankings on who, well, basically the Bills belt power rankings is what I have it on here, is who is least to most likely to win the belt next year when we're in Vegas. So I know I have my little like graphic here, but what were your thoughts when I shot this question to you today?
Yeah, I immediately just got sad. And I thought that there might need to be 2 sets of rankings, because have we decided who gets the belt? Is it the points overall, or is it the relay winner? I still don't know.
I think it's the relay winner.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that with like 90% certainty.
Yeah. As far as I am concerned, I hate relay, but it is kind of cool that like a belt is on the line. I'll never earn it, but I think you can like win the belt through relay and then you win first overall pick with all the other stuff. But I mean, the draft competition is molded. Try to make it inclusive to those of us that can't process carbonation quickly. So that being said, I kind of have tiers in my mind, right? Like
Nice.
the bottom tier is myself. I think Scott is in this tier. And then I think Maxwell is in this tier as well. Those are the three of us. I mean, Scott needs to show up, but I also remember the three of us being anti-chug back at the U when we're all there. Gosh, honestly, that's it. Those are the tiers.
So the other 9 people has the same chance of.
I have a good chance at pulling it off. I think Bacon has the ability to turn it on, but like he can be hit or miss with shooting, and more often than not, he's missing. So I think he'd be in the middle area. Looking at the rankings real quick, I think the heavyweight contenders are Bill, Stu, obviously. Evan is always solid. I think O'Malley's drinking ability is elite, but his beer pong is always very sus. So I'd put him with Bacon. I'm giving you the broken stream of thought. Brad's a wild card always. He can drink, he can shoot, but can he string those things together?
He is a one-time Hall of Fame drinking champion.
Yeah, right. So like in that case, he got hot, right? I think he's kind of like Mario in that regard. Pebbles is the same way. He's super streaky. He's a guy who could miss 14 shots in a row. He's also a guy that could just be like locked in. Oh gosh, yeah, this is a fun question. What your rankings are much clearly you put something together. So let's hear your list.
Yeah, so I just from all the pictures of paper plates and bags and whatnot that I have saved since 2014, I put together a little like average finish for everybody, but there are a few caveats. So I didn't like include any 11th or 12th place finishes, I think, because a lot of times I think the person just like wasn't there, but we like counted them because that was before we had like multiple events. But there are definitely some trends. I mean, the top 5 in my math here is Adam, Stu, Bacon, Bill, and Max. Yeah, and then Pebbles actually is close behind. And this is average finish, throwing out 11th and 12th places where I don't think the person was there. But I think it's going to come down to either Adam or Stu or wild card Max. Because we will be in Vegas as he has been pounding the table for years. And he'll be getting a weekend away from the family. And I think the stars just might align for him to win the belt. So I would say my top 3 contenders would be Adam, Stu, and then dark horse Max.
That's awesome. I think Adam is, that's so crazy that Adam's average finish. I was going to choose him as my dark horse finisher, but his average finish is 2.8.
Yeah, the worst he's ever done is 7th, and he has 1 7th place, 1 4th place, and the rest are 2nd or 1st. I also don't have 2019 statistics because I wasn't there. I was at practice with Bacon, and I didn't get anything from 2019 on my phone. So I don't know how he did then, or any of you guys did, but
I think I probably won that year. That's why I'm so low.
You can bump yourself up to the next tier.
Yeah. No. Only if there's volleyball or other non-relay games. I'm your guy. Relay.
Well, that's the first pick we talked about. Not for the belt. belt ineligible. Maybe you just gotta chug something else. Why don't you chug some like water or something?
Yeah.
Or is that maybe that's like performance enhancing substance though?
God, somebody might rabble about it. So I don't know. There were some sympathizers after I vomited so quickly. Like I pled my case and then I immediately showed the evidence. And what's worse is like I felt good after it. I think that's like the craziest part is I was like ready to roll. I had like been pre-gaming to like get to that optimal drunk state. Like I think we had already finished cornhole where I was just like locked in. I blacked out doing that and then came to the relay. I don't know. Maybe at this point there's some anxiety there as well.
Yeah, you're in your head.
The dreaded, but yeah. Anyways, maybe this year we can all bring like $100 and like that could be our ranking. Like whoever, you have 2 hours to go gamble. Whoever comes back with the most money,
That's
that is
pretty
our
fucking fun. I mean, that could be one thing. That can be like a pretty big Wade one.
Yeah. If we're in Vegas, I think we have to have Vegas specific things to do, right? Like Topgolf being one of them, especially if we say so well in advance. Like Topgolf games, yeah, they like kind of matter with golf skills, but also not really. Like the Angry Birds game that we were playing at Topgolf has no bearing on whether or not you're good at golf or not.
Yeah, that would be akin to like betting on horse racing. It's just completely random. I think.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. I'm fine. This game. I love Topgolf. I'll bash it. I'll fucking bash it.
Dude, I think that you're the biggest surprise for Topgolf for me. Just how you put that booty to work, driving balls straight into the back net. Oh, that was so fun. Colin, put it in the back net for Stu. Stu asked for it.
I'm
Stu
on
wants
it.
Yeah. Whatever. All the clubs have names too, right? So you like grab the big wood or the big one, whatever.
Yeah, that was fun.
I gotta answer a text real quick. You take over.
You got to answer a text real quick. Wow. Okay.
I know.
Well,
time sensitive.
Next section, we got the league picks leaderboard. We already determined that Adam is the winner weeks and weeks and weeks ago. So now I'm curious how we're going to deliver upon that. If we all like pitched in like $15 or something, that would be like, I don't know what is that? 15, 90. They're like $90 or 100, over $100. There's like 7 of us. Yeah. I can remember how many people were participating in the Pick'em challenge. Well, we're gonna have about $100 for Adam to spend, but we shouldn't make him go and buy his own whiskey because that seems lame. So yeah, how about we kind of figure that out in the group, me gentlemen. But the next thing I wanted to visit is the shots owed from those of us in the beer bracket. Now I know I did mine this past weekend. I think you also did yours this past weekend. Adam might have put one in there too, although he put a lot of shots in the group me for a bunch of random things. But some of us did not in that lower portion. So those of us, who else was in there? Max was down there. Who else owes some shots? Bacon, haven't seen you take a shot. Pebs, where's your shot? All right, come on, consolation, Buckaroos. Let's take some shots, huh?
Yeah, I agree. If there was ever a time to be bullies, now's the time. Fess up, At minimum, you take a shot just to like celebrate the season.
Yeah.
And at maximum, you take a shot because you were forced into this gambling situation that you didn't necessarily agree to, but we totally I don't know. We were the loudest voices, the only voices in the room.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time that's happened to you, person, anyway. So
Yeah.
get it done.
Let's get some more content from the rest of the league. Yeah.
So moving on here, I went through all of our previous podcast notes. Didn't find as many hot takes as I thought I would. I feel like we'd have to listen to the podcast to get all those hot takes, and that would be quite the time investment. So I did not do that. Except for one instance I did, which I'll get to in a second. But one hot take that I made, I said Jiggy Jiggy was a pretender and that Max was a contender back in week 6. I know Max started 0-3, and I think he might have been 3-3 or 2-4 at this point. But I always thought that Brad was burning too bright and that Max was going to make it to the playoffs, and those both flopped. Brad had a great regular season and Max not so much. So that was a week 6 take. That was a cold take, bad take. Additionally, that was a week of Stu's wedding where he set the all-time league record in points in 2011 against poor Bacon, where we were watching the Packers play the Bengals, and it was just Devontae Adams scoring a touchdown, and then Jamar Chase scoring a touchdown. We were sitting in your living room watching this happen. Bacon right there.
Gosh, that was such a fun time. And so fitting. I hope that's will be a forever memory for Stu, wedding weekend, and also set the all-time high score. That's dope.
Week 10, Brad was a guest on the pod. I had Brad pick his playoff teams, and all the teams that Brad picked to make the playoffs in week 10 made the playoffs.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so good job, Brad. That was like for 4 weeks. There was a month left, and he picked him. Good job, Brad. And then week 12, so this is the one that I actually did do a little bit of deep research. There was the dad bet where I was up in Bend with Bill, and he was a special guest with us. And you and I bet on the Max versus Pebbles matchup as they were both dads. I took Max and you took Pebbles. And when we talked about what to wager, you said a shot, and I was like, yeah, it's gotta be something dad related. And then Bill comes in and says, you got to impregnate your woman. And then, and then we just freaked out, and Pebbles won. So I took my shot, and that's what we landed on for those stakes.
Huh. Sounds like you owe a little bit more.
What to be delivered at a future date, much like the shot we're going to take together to be paid in the future.
How fun.
Before we move on to our championship review, do you have any takes that you remember making that were bad beyond your Antonio Brown one, of course?
That is a controversial counter take, sir. I think I had a ton of hot takes. Oh yeah. The Max, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill
90
scoring
point,
90 points. They got close, I think twice. I think that they were within 15 2 times, but never pulled it off. I actually think that Brad's team might have pulled it off with Stafford, Kupp, and Jefferson at some point. But yeah, that was one hot take that never panned out.
Buckaroo Allen was the leading scorer for quarterbacks. Actually, he might have been just the leading scorer in general. He was the number 1 player in fantasy.
Yeah, it's generally how quarterbacks work.
Yep.
Bastards. Yeah, week 13. Oh, so close. Team Jiggy Jiggy. He was 8 points away from breaking 90 points with 3 players.
Wow.
Yeah. So note to self, let's set the threshold at 75.
25 points each. Much more doable.
That's much more doable than 30 each. But I mean, at the time, I even still think that it can happen. What other hot takes did I have? That's part of the problem that I have with podcasting is like we drink so aggressively. Well, not tonight, but like by the end of these things, I generally like will brown out, and I don't even remember half of the things that I have said, which is very scary considering we post this on YouTube, you know. But yeah, I think that was my hottest take. That one. Good season overall. I'm sure there's a bunch of mini hot takes. Not willing to go back, like you said, and listen to them all. I'm sure the fans know some bullshit that I said over the season.
Yes, please remind us, everybody. Okay, so to the championship game. We're a little removed now. The dust has settled. Obviously, O'Malley is the winner by less than 2 points here. Harris, we mentioned, went off for him. So did Eckler. Big game for Eckler as well. Not a good game from the Dallas defense, who O'Malley had been riding for a while, and which he mentioned on the pod where you interviewed everybody. Only 1 point out of them. And O'Malley also left points on the bench. He sat the Jaguars backup running back, instead played Jordan Howard. That backup scored like 10 more points than Howard did. And he had Boston Scott on his bench, who scored 22 in that same game where Howard scored 2.6. He was kicking himself. On Evan's side, Swift is the biggest thing that pops out to me. And so I kind of went back to one of those like what if scenarios, right? Big trade Mike Evans for Swift there on the Lions for the playoffs. Evan was ready for Swift to be out a few weeks. He didn't need him initially because Evan had that bye. Swift comes back and gets less than 5 points. If that trade had never happened, tinfoil hat, Evan had Devonta Freeman and Pollard on his bench, both of which would have scored him the necessary 2 points to beat O'Malley if he would have played them instead of Swift. And if he never had Swift, he probably would have had to play one of those guys. Additionally, Mike Evans scored 12.7 points on Scott's bench this week, who Mike Evans would have outscored Ayuk, Cooper, and Christian Kirk in Evans flex. So I present to the court, if this trade never would have happened, Evan would be the champion of this league.
Yeesh, that's tough. Gosh, the Jordan Howard start was crazy because he did so well filling in for me over the season. It seemed like, like, oh yeah, totally. Of course, Jordan Howard's going to get all the goal line carries. And I think at one point he was like injured a little bit from in that game. Maybe not.
I seem to remember that too. I feel like he didn't complete the game.
I thought it was interesting. I remember just being like, dude, how is Tyler Boyd still on your bench? Like he's put up numbers for 4 weeks in a row now. Like his base has been 8 points.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how are you just gonna ignore that? But yeah, kudos to both of these managers. They made enough right moves to make it to the championship game. I did not. And so inherently their opinion is smarter than mine, right? Like we can sit here and nitpick all we want, but they were able to get to this spot. And at the time, Evan made the best decision that he could that he thought would bolster his roster. and we can question it as much as we want. It didn't necessarily pan out, but at the time, he was weak at running back, which, I mean, if you look at his other numbers, Devontae Freeman, 8 points, Tony Pollard, 7 points. Arguably, though, that is a weak showing, right, from your RB2. So he made a move for a player that should have performed better.
Yeah, Swift was crushing it for a good 6 weeks there. Actually, basically the whole entire season before he got injured on that fateful Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah. And so, at the time, he made a great trade. It was a seemingly fair trade too, right? Like great value for both players, both managers involved. It sucks that it didn't work out. It sucks that he lost the championship the way that he did. I was on Team Evan the whole time. This is fun. I remember being a little bit caught off guard by the lack of drinking snaps the day of the championship. And so, it's kind of weird that I associate fantasy with drinking now. Maybe it's probably not the best association to have. But, after having 2 back-to-back years of Stu and just like him ruthlessly drinking his team to victory to this was kind of a lightweight matchup in that regard. What were your thoughts at the time in that regard?
Let's see. What were my thoughts at this time? Didn't O'Malley send a snap of or a little video of him taking of himself in his kitchen, shotgunning or doing a shot over his sink? I feel like there was a video that he sent out.
He was in Vegas for the championship weekend.
Oh, and then Evan just had his kids, so I was like, it's probably can't be hard boozy. These little children around. I don't know. It was I was kind of checked out, to be honest. I got past the Sacco game. I had that triumphant Monday night miracle victory where I was just sending drinks that entire weekend. I would just drunk that for a good portion of 48 hours.
See, you drank your team to victory.
Adam tried too, though.
Yeah, that was really fun. That was really fun to watch. All around, another successful season with, oh man, one thing that's crazy to me, it didn't feel as affected by COVID as the season prior. Remember last year when I was making spreadsheets, we're just like, what do we do in case there's a mystery non-start, or, we're going to have Pebbles sub players in and have, backups just in case something happened. Well, this year felt very unaffected. That's what, I got my tinfoil hat on, right? Nobody's positive for COVID on Sundays, but tell you what, Monday comes around, 96 players.
There were those 2 games that were moved from Thursday and Saturday to Monday and Tuesday. That was pretty late in the playoffs. And when that happened, I thought the same thing, where I was like, wow, maybe we should still be having backup players designated, because this is when it counts. And we haven't even talked about that all year. And then it ended up being fine because the games are rescheduled. Although I don't remember who was playing. It was the Eagles and the football team or something. But I remember having players in that game and thinking what if this game is canceled? Then I got nobody, right?
Yeah, that went through my head all season long. If you have a player playing on Monday night, you better have a backup just in case, because you never know. Except for it just really didn't happen that often, right? I feel like people, anyways, it compared to what's going on with basketball right now, season was a breeze. But hats off to everybody. Another successful season, a lot of fun, a lot of turmoil, a lot of great podcasting, a lot of great jokes, a lot of great team names. I just love this time of year. And I know that Ashley is extremely excited to have Sundays back.
Yes, everyone, all partners are stoked.
All
to
partners,
get some time back.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Well, in going over all of our previous podcast notes, it was cool to like watch my journey over the past 3 months, because when this football season started, I was still in Santa Barbara, which seems like ages ago.
Wow. When you put it like that, yeah, the season has been going on forever.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh, how are you feeling?
Well, I mean, all this like house situation has been pretty annoying. Like we were just there today, supposed to be done by like the 22nd or something, hopefully, but it seems kind of doubtful. They put in new tiles, new bathtub. They painted, new paint job, which is cool, except how the house had been set up was our living room was like untouched by any of the water damage. So we put all of our stuff in the living room, and the workers had put up this big like tarp separating the living room from the rest of the house to like keep our stuff like out of the way and like just untouched, unharmed. We went today to get some stuff for this upcoming weekend, and they had taken that tarp down and they had painted all the walls in the living room. So they had ended up moving all of our shit that we assumed wouldn't be touched by anybody. And this is like, I mean, I bought a fucking like TV a month before like this stuff happened, which now is like under a sheet for 2 months. And now I get there and it's been moved to somewhere else. Who knows how careful these guys are being. So that was kind of frustrated to come in on, but I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, gosh, I can't wait for you guys to have your home back.
Me neither.
It's the vagabond life is fun at times, but for an extended amount of time, it can wear on you. So
yeah, I'm definitely ready to have a home.
Yeah, and then once you do, we can't wait to come down and visit you in San Diego and watch a Padres Dodgers game.
Yes.
Let's go.
I can't wait to go to some games. Downtown is like 3 miles away.
Woo, that's nothing. You got to start accumulating beater beach cruisers just for friend visits to like ride going back.
There's nice public transport, little trolley that goes.
I love a good trolley. All right, you have me convinced.
Well, we should put a bow on this season.
Yeah, we'll probably put together one last just a combination of all Curtis's jingles, chorus.
100% we'll do that.
Tradition. But yeah, I don't have any wisdom to impart on anybody at this point. I love you all. I miss you all. Air hugs.
Keep those drinking videos coming, though. We got some more football. Stu, you got to take advantage of that trophy while you still got it. And I guess, Adam, you got a full another year, so maybe no rush for you.
Oh, no, that's devastating. At least he has naming rights, so he could like name it
That's
the call and goal or something. You know, like,
don't give him any ideas.
Collins, hopes and dreams. Gall's Hall. Gall's Hole. Ooh,
Gall's balls.
Fun. Gall's balls.
Gall's balls, baby. Okay,
Yeah.
Goodbye, everybody.
Ciao.
Sometimes life ain't fair. And sometimes you get lucky. Heaven's worst nightmare. Oh, now it's fantasy. Dream. Give it up for the Buffalo Bills. Special teams. Congratulations, Sean. Welcome to the people. Bengals Pod.
See you in Vegas.